Hello, I am AxelMC131 and welcome back to Behind the Blocks in Minecraft 1.11, and I've got a sneak peek video to show you guys today. Well, I say sneak peek, it's more a work in progress, and this I have been trying to set my mind to after noticing a massive influx of subscribers and comments and such after it seems that I did something right with one of my videos, and if you're looking at my feed or something right now, then you'll know that that is the 6-block observer block flying machine, or the 6-block slime block flying machine, and I'll have a link to that in the description at the moment. And it's this thing here. This is actually my original working concept of it, and it's a very very small flying machine that works horizontally, and I made these little buffer stations for it where you walk on, and it just progresses across as you hold the forward movement key, and it will move you along to the other side, and then stop, and it's self-resetting, and then it goes off in the other direction, and you can do the same thing back again. Now, initially, I was not sure if it worked vertically or not. A few people asked, and I kind of said yes when I shouldn't have, because it actually doesn't in this configuration, which is kind of disappointing. But I decided that I wanted to try and make an elevator type thing based on it. So the first thing I had to do was make a vertical working version. So there's some concepts here that I wanted to show you guys today. So this is what I want to show you guys today, just to show you the progress, and hopefully if anyone has any ideas for ways that I could improve on what I have at the moment, then they could suggest those in the comments. But this is also mostly a video to appease the masses who have appeared after that slime block flying machine video and might be wanting some more of the same thing. So this is looking into the next step, as it were. So we're going to start off here. So this is a vertical version, and this one's actually, it looks exactly the same, and it is exactly the same, except for one key difference, other than it being, you know, rotated 90 degrees along this axis, and that is that the key that I discovered, I'm not sure why this is, but on the horizontal machine the observer blocks are facing directly away, so this one here is facing into that block there, into the redstone lamp there. They're facing directly away from the slime blocks they're attached to, and they power directly into the slime block, which then powers the piston. However, on the vertical one, the bottom observer block works if it's facing directly downwards, so directly away from the slime block, but the top one has to be facing sideways. So it's looking to the side away from the bulk of the machine, so it's powering this air block above where this piston is. I'm not sure why this is, but it works. Now, this was a prototype elevator that I made, going against my own words of wisdom of the block here. The issue, of course, with the old one being that if you attached any other blocks to these slime blocks, you got phantom block creation as it moved. Now, I was later informed by several people that these blocks, actually, if you break them in survival, they just disappear. So then you can't use it as a duplicator, which was my initial fear, and all the people who were commenting saying, hey, you can use this as a duplicator. Just again, to verify, I know that, and that's not a good thing. If you're doing that, you're cheating, so don't do that. But needless to say, you actually can't do that with this, because those blocks are phantoms, and when you break them in survival, they just disappear. You don't get the item. Interestingly enough, if you break like a stone block or something with a pickaxe, it also doesn't use any durability on the tool, which is an interesting little gimmick there. So worth noting for future, for something. I've no idea what, but it kind of made me laugh. Anyway, but I've gone against that word here with using a block on the side of the slime block, and I do still get phantom block creation vertically sometimes. But this was the initial concept for an elevator, and basically it's got a power trigger below and a power trigger off to the side, because of course this observer block on top points sideways, and all you have to do is stand on this block here, hit the button, and it will take you all the way up and then stop there, because we have another buffer at the top, and this is now level with the floor. And then of course you hit the button at the top and it goes back down again, and hopefully it doesn't create a phantom block while I'm standing on it, and it did. So there you go. So this is the phantom block creation. Let's just break that. Now this is fine, except for A, the phantom block creation, B, it's not very good looking. It's like 2-block wide mechanism, but only a 1-block wide place you can stand on, and C, you can't call the elevator from the opposite side. So this doesn't work on multiplayer, or if you screw something up in single player. As in, if the elevator is up at the top, and you're waiting on the bottom floor, how do you get the elevator down? Exactly. So I was trying to work on various concepts for how to do that. This was a failed concept for something using redstone torches going up and down, and I won't go into this too much because I ended up doing something that broke the machine. but I was trying to make sort of runners using obsidian. Those of you playing in 1.12, of course, will probably be using terracotta blocks because they're fancy in that you can push them with pistons, but you can't pull them with pistons. I don't know why this is, but apparently this is a cool thing now. Needless to say, I'm in 1.11 for my own personal reasons. But if you're in 1.12, like most of these things will still work, and in fact with the terracotta blocks they probably work even better. So anything that you see obsidian or droppers or furnaces, then feel free to replace those with terracotta blocks. But I'm in 1.11, deal with it. But yeah, so I actually broke the machine out of here, and I was mucking around with just random concepts, trying to use pistons to activate and deactivate, and trying to get a current from the top and also another one down from the bottom when you hit both buttons. So when you hit this button, it would activate that, and then when you hit that button, it would do the same thing. That turned out to be quite hard. And this was my final concept, which I want to show you, and this is as far as I got, and there's a sort of work in progress bit at the top here, which is using a door. Now this one's quite interesting in that I'm actually using pistons with chains of slime block and redstone blocks, which is a method that's been used for quite a lot of like big complex redstone machinery where you need to transmit like a little bit of power over a long distance. Is they're using a chain of a sticky piston and then slime blocks and then a redstone block and then a sticky piston and so on and so on. Obviously in survival this is incredibly expensive, but it's kind of fun if you're just doing cool stuff in creative because you can see all these pieces moving. It's almost like it's a giant mechanical construction as opposed to an electrical construction, if you get my drift, you know? But I was trying that here because it allows me in this situation to have a current go both up and down. So in this case, when I hit this button, it activates both these pistons, which powers the trigger at the bottom and also the trigger at the top. And then on top, I have another button which does the same thing, but it has one on top and then one which goes all the way down again. And this works fine, but it's kind of ugly and it's not at all compact. Like, this thing is huge for a one-block elevator. Now, you can extend this vertically as much as you want, obviously chaining this sort of structure. You can extend this vertically as much as you want, and as far as I know, it should work for any altitude. But again, it just does not look right, and ideally I'd like to have the buttons on both sides, and unless I have, in this situation, a giant like set of pistons and slime blocks and stuff that just jump out to the side here and make a huge mess, I don't know if I can actually fit the top button on the same side as the bottom button and still be able to access to activate both activators from the top and the bottom. So that's where I'm kind of stuck. Now the other thing I'm kind of stuck at is this door. Now the concept I had for this, if I just hit this button to send the elevator down, you'll also see a sand block behind there that I actually put on top just to make sure that it's actually like a little cubby hole, so you can't get out of that. Ideally you'd have a wall up there, but I wanted to do it like a proper elevator because, as with the other one over here, when the elevator is at the top and you're on the bottom floor, there's a giant open gap that you can walk into and fall into and then get trapped in the mechanism of whatever it is you're building. So you don't really want that. So I thought, what if I made a door? Now I did this at the top, just actually taking advantage of this sand block. That wasn't the initial purpose of the sand block, it was just there for the hell of it, but it actually worked because I'm putting a current through that space, and as long as the elevator is on the top here, the sand block is in this space here, and it allows current to pass through to that redstone dust, turns off the torch, and opens the door. And this door is actually inverted, so that its unpowered position is open. So what that means is that when the elevator is away from this floor, it's closed to you, but when the elevator comes up, it actually activates and the door opens, so that way you can't walk in and fall down the elevator shaft, right? Now, I have been unable so far to fit in a similar mechanism here, and it's really, really frustrating me. I would love to have an equivalent door at the bottom floor here so that you can't fall into the mechanism below. Let's just send it back up again. So you can't fall into the mechanism below, but I can't figure it out, because every time I try and send a current through one of these blocks, it activates the pistons and then breaks the machine, and I can't have another block attached to one of these sign blocks because it'll get phantom blocks, and I couldn't have something sticking out the bottom because if it's like sand or something it'll fall, and either way there's nothing to pull it back up, so I couldn't do anything without changing the size of the entire machine. So that's the other point where I'm stuck. But that is the progress of it so far, and I thought that you guys might like to see that. So I can actually jump in the elevator here, and you'll see this torch is now off, the door is open. If I hit that button, door closes and it'll send me down. And I'll give you another look from here so you can see the redstone that's actually moving. So when I'm hitting this button at the bottom floor, both of those pistons extend, and that triggers both the bottom activator, which is the redstone lamp, and the top one. And again, once it's up here, you can see the sand block is letting the power go through here. And if I hit this button, you'll see, actually let me move that to the other side, you'll see that it activates the activator on the top and also the one on the bottom, which allows you to basically call it from either floor. So if I'm on top, there we go, and it sends the pulse down and then calls it up, and then of course I can do the same thing from the bottom. So functionally at the moment it works, and it is cool, and I do want to use this at some point. So my real gripes with it are the fact that it is not at all compact, and I'm sure that there's a simpler way to call the elevator, as it were, from the top and the bottom floor. And I'm also sure that there's a way to make a door mechanism here on the bottom as well. I just do not know what either of them are. Looks kind of like some weird statue of like a golem holding this thing up with its slime arms. Anyway, so if anyone has any suggestions on how they think that I could solve these problems, then please do leave a comment below. And if people actually know anyone who's tried something like this before, or if anyone's successfully done this before, then feel free to link me to videos. And if this has been done before in this way, and I'm just stepping over, frequently treaded upon ground, then let me know, and I will see if I can, I suppose, retrofit some of those sort of things to make them more interesting. Because the last thing I want to be doing is making unoriginal content, but there you go. If I don't know that it exists, how can I help? But anyway, that is it from me. So if you liked, then please leave a like, and if you want to see more, then subscribe and stay tuned, and direct all thoughts, questions, and feedback to the comments below. And again, if you have any ideas for how I can make this better in any way, please do let me know. And yeah, that's it from me, guys, so thank you very much for watching. I've been AxelMC131, and I'll see you next time.